This is something no one asked for. Sometimes I just wake up and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta film myself looking like a sexy bird for the internet. Hey you guys, what is up? It's me, Katherine Steele. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am bringing back character tutorials with a bang. We're going to be talking about Seussical the Musical while I do a tutorial on Mayzie LaBird. This is actually probably my favorite character tutorial of all time. Question of the day, what do you think about Seussical the Musical? I want to hear the good, the bad, the Seussy. Let me know in the comments down below. There are some things that I really do appreciate about Seussical, first and foremost being the imagination aspect. It's such a creative show, and what you can do with it is really only limited by your imagination. But without any further ado, let's jump into the tutorial and talk about Seussical the Musical. I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be some spoilers for Seussical the Musical, and there will be some kind of adult discussion pertaining to it. I think you'll be fine, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'll also try to give you heads up before the spoilers come. I'm going to prime my face using Clinique's Yellow Moisturizer, and to prime my eyes, I'm going to use Urban Decay's Primer Potion in the shade Fix, upside down, apparently. I'm going to go ahead and lay down a matte kind of neutral blending color so that my colors can blend together a little bit easier, and I can set my primer. This shadow happens to be the shade Waif by Lancome, but again, just use whatever you have on hand and whatever kind of matches your skin tone. So for this eye look, I'm going to be using my Z palette that I built myself, all of those rainbow colors on top. Coincidentally, they're all from Morphe, and they're all like $2 or $3. I don't have a code with them, but I know a lot of YouTubers do, so if you follow anyone who has a discount code, use it because you get to support that YouTuber and you get money off, so it's a pretty sweet deal. Using tape, I'm going to go ahead and carve out the shape that I want for my eyeshadow. Like I did earlier, it's really important to kind of stick and re-stick the tape to make sure that it's not too sticky on your face, because your face skin is very delicate. Also, how many times did I say stick in that last sentence? Because I feel like I said it a lot. Let's say it again. Stick. Going in rainbow or Roy G. Biv order, we're going to go ahead and create a rainbow on our eyes. When I was coming up with this look, I really wanted to be inspired by nature, because even though Mayzie is this fantastical creature, at heart, she is a bird who lives in a jungle. So what is the showiest, most colorful thing that you frequently see in a rainforest? A rainbow. Boom. Science. Oh, by the way, I'm foiling these shadows. I'm using the Smashbox Primer Water. This helps the eyeshadow be more vibrant and more metallic. So for the uninitiated, Seussical is a musical that kind of mashes up a bunch of different Dr. Seuss stories, kind of into the woods style. They all exist in the same universe, and all the characters interact. The main plot of the show concerns Horton the elephant, an outsider in the jungle of Newell who finds a speck of dust he believes to contain an entire tiny planet. The people who live on that planet are the Who's, as in Whoville, Cindy Lou Who, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, Mr. and Mrs. Mayor, and their son Jojo, who has a vast imagination, who kind of gets sucked into the story. At the beginning of the show, he's just a boy from the audience who crawls up on stage and then gets sucked in. Honestly, I am such a sucker for those kind of things that it's like, a child's imagination is the most powerful weapon against hatred, and honestly, that's why I cry at Disney, like, constantly. And this show definitely has that Disney-esque magic imagination feel, because the show is slightly more adult, but it's almost in a chaotic way. Like, it doesn't feel safe. Dr. Seuss and Seussical almost feel a little bit scary in comparison to, like, Beauty and the Beast or any of the Disney Junior shows. A lot of the topics that are covered in this show are scarier. There is, like, a whole battle sequence, and you think that, I mean, spoiler alert, that some characters have died in this battle. And that whole plotline is really just a critique on the frivolity of modern warfare. Like, the reason the two sides are fighting are based off of how they butter their toast, and of course that's just a critique on the frivolity of war, and why do we feel the need to kill people over something that's so minute. And you can really see and tell that that is from Theodore Geiselman, aka Dr. Seuss's background. Before he became Dr. Seuss, he was actually a political cartoonist, meaning that he would use his illustration, his imagination, and his humor to kind of poke fun at what was going on in politics, and also to illuminate his point of view and stuff like that. And you can see a lot of that within his works. Of course, he didn't write this musical, but it's all based off of his material. So needless to say, this show is, like, deceivingly deep and kind of dark. In fact, there's a lot of racial undertones in this show as well, which isn't surprising since this show is by Aarons and Flaherty, which is the awesome, award-winning team that brought you shows like Ragtime and Once on This Island, both of which are kind of larger-than-life representations of racial inequality. So in Seussical, Mayzie LaBird serves as a foil for the character of Gertrude McFuzz, who is this super sweet, kind of awkward, geeky love interest for Horton. She's got a huge crush on him, but he doesn't even notice her because he's so involved with his speck of dust. Gertrude also happens to be really self-conscious about her tail. It's only 1 feather long, and all of these birds in this jungle have huge, fabulous, gorgeous tails. One of these birds happens to be Mayzie LaBird, who is this crazy, confident, sexy bird. Also, I can't believe I just said the phrase sexy bird unironically on the internet. Oh my god. But she's everything that Gertrude isn't and everything that Gertrude wants to be. Mayzie reveals that her tail has been medically enhanced by a doctor via these magical tail-growing pills. Of course, this is commentary on plastic surgery or any kind of changing yourself to get a boy to notice you, or whatever gender you're attracted to, or whatever kind of person you think you're not good enough for, whether it be in the workplace, friendships, family, stuff like that. Spoiler alert, it comes back to hurt Gertrude. Later on in the act, she needs to fly to save the day, and she soon discovers that she can't fly with her huge, heavy tail. Ultimately, she gets rid of her tail so that she can save the day, but it's kind of an interesting thought. I was just thinking about this the other day, that Mayzie is sexy, quote unquote, or at least serves as like the sex symbol in this children's show, but then Gertrude needs to become unsexy to become the hero. Of course, the show is trying to make the statement that you are good enough and pretty enough as you are, but is it also subtly reinforcing the idea that if you care about how you look, you're inherently vain or the bad guy? Because as the show progresses, Mayzie kind of gets worse. Like at the very beginning, she just has a couple of punchlines or like mean little comments, but they're supposed to be funny, and they often are funny. By the end of the show, they're really showing how promiscuous she is and how selfish she is. She ends up even abandoning her unborn child. And of course, keep in mind that that unborn child is an egg, because we're still talking about a bird's one-night stand in a children's show. Oh my god, this show just sounds so ridiculous when you say it out loud like that. And it's a very adult show for children. I did Seussical Jr. when I was in early middle school. It was one of the first shows I ever did, and even back then, I caught the anti-abortion rhetoric, or at least that's how I perceived it, because at the time that was the big political debate going on. One of the most recurring lines in the show is, a person's a person no matter how small, and you have people, you know, not wanting their children, and rather than getting rid of the egg, Horton adopts the egg and raises it. So inherently right there, that's an interesting statement on Seussical's behalf. Again, I might just be analyzing this way too hard, but I don't think I am. But you're effectively having the hero saying that it's the right thing to adopt this egg, and you're having the would-be frivolous, sexy villain being like, I don't care about babies. I think that it's really important and interesting to address creator or author bias when it comes to children's entertainment. A, because children often can't discern if an author is biased, but B, that entertainment and that media influences the way that that child will think and perceive the world. Bias isn't always a bad thing, and everyone has a bias. Every author, every creator, every person has a bias. It just influences the way that we think and create. For instance, I happen to really like Les Mis. It's one of my favorite musicals, so of course, if you hear me say anything about Les Mis, you know that going into that discussion, I am positively biased toward Les Mis because I like it. It's not a political statement, it's not a religious statement, and it's not something inherently insidious or me trying to change your mind about Les Mis, but you just have that information going in that I will be biased toward Les Mis. So that's my little rant on rhetorical reading and being a skeptical audience member. I mean, it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, so I'm glad that I launched into that little rant. But while I was doing that, I lined my eyes with some black liquid liner by Kat Von D, popped on some mascara by Great Lash, and I put some white eyeliner in my waterline. Today's foundation is Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 110. I'm using a brush with really long, not too dense bristles. Is it called bristles? If it's like a face brush? I don't know, let me know in the comments down below. But I'm using that to help soak up some of the product because this foundation is a little bit thicker than I usually go for, so this kind of helps to thin it out. Concealer is also by Maybelline Fit Me, but it's in the shade 15 Fair. I'm also using a little bit of concealer to help sharpen up that aggressive eyeshadow wing up there. Wing! Bird puns! I'm setting my face with some loose powder because I'm about to go in with more eyeshadow on those areas under my eyes and on my forehead, so I'm really making sure that that area isn't damp with foundation because the eyeshadow will really stick to it and probably end up patchy. Now I'm going to pop on some blush and contour. The blush is Tarte Amazonian Clay 24-Hour Blush. For contour, I'm taking Bahama Mama by the Ball, my favorite contour of all time. Ooh, I just got an email. And it was from YouTube. Oh, the irony. I'm going a little bit heavier, full Instagram baddie on the eyebrows today. I'm going to take the Anastasia Definer pencil in Ebony, and I'm going to set it with some clear brow gel by Glossier. I'm giving my brows just a little bit of an extra arch to kind of amp up that glamour. I'm running this teal eyeliner underneath my lash line to add another pop of color under the eye. Now here comes the crazy part. Pray for me. Taking an assortment of matte orange and yellow eyeshadows, I'm going to kind of create a beak. Because Mayzie is, of course, still a bird. I really want to touch on that fact without just kind of doing an orange triangle on my nose. So I'm going to do a very blown out, kind of smoky halo mask shape with this yellow and orange eyeshadow. Keep in mind that your facial structure will dictate where you should put this shadow. So depending on your facial structure, it might be a little different. For highlight, I'm going to use a golden eyeshadow and take that all the way up my nose and onto my forehead. I'm just going to keep layering it up until I get the desired effect. I'm also darkening my nose contour with a slightly darker matte orange eyeshadow so that I can really retain the shape of my nose. When you cover your face with a color, i.e. in face paint or any other kind of makeup, you kind of lose the shape and it makes it look one-dimensional. So I'm going back in with that shadow to add a shape back to my nose so I don't look like Voldemort. I'm also applying that highlight shade with my finger to really help retain that sparkle. Speaking of sparkle, it's time for glitter. I'm going to be taking the Steele, I think it's called the Magnificent Metals, in the shade Diamond Dust. It's their holographic silver shade, and yes, it is hollow because it reflects the rainbow. Yes, I watched Simply Nailogical. I am a holosexual. I thought the rainbow reflection would be perfect for our rainbow eye makeup. Keep in mind that if you want to try out this stage makeup look on stage, then you need to test out the glitter ahead of time. Sometimes glitter can react badly with stage lights. I'm taking this glitter on my inner corners, under the eye, above the eye, and anywhere else where I would have highlight to really make that pop. Yay! I love glitter! Oh my god, catch me actually wearing this as a highlight sometime this summer because I feel like I will. I'm just gonna pop on some false lashes. I'll be right back. We're back! What? This is crazy. I am so shocked with how this is turning out so far. I wish I had some like feathery 40s hairpiece to do right here because I think that would be amazing and glamorous. But I just did a really deep side part and some loose waves over here, put on some huge showgirl lashes. As you can see, the eyeshadow looks so cool. I'm so thrilled with how this turned out. I'm gonna go ahead and add some lipstick. This is the shade Russian Red by MAC. I'm not going to purposefully overfill my lips, but I am going to smush them a little bit more so that if they get outside the line a little, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna take this lip detail brush and just kind of even it out. So there you guys go. That is my tutorial on Mayzie LaBird and my thoughts on Seussical the Musical. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. I am so happy with how this turned out. Honestly, I'm still freaking out. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you guys so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!